Welcome to Firebase Release Notes for May, where we cover big and small releases from Firebase. This month, we released a bunch of new stuff at Google I/O, and I'm going to share all of these releases with you today. So let's begin right away. First, let's talk about Firebase Studio, our development environment that allows you to prototype, build, and ship full-stack AI apps quickly and efficiently, right from your browser. Firebase Studio was launched in April, and already has a few new improvements. So here's what's new. You can now use the Builder.io Figma plugin to generate code from your Figma designs and import it directly into a Firebase Studio workspace. To make your apps stand out even more, we integrated access to Unsplash, allowing you to pick stock images that match your app's design. Take a look at the Get Started with App Prototyping Agents documentation to understand how to start using these images. We've also increased the capacity for projects imported from zip files. Previously, you could only import up to 50 megabytes, but now we've doubled that to 100 megabytes. To learn more about these Firebase Studio updates, take a look at this article on the Firebase blog. Next, let's talk about what's new in app hosting. We have introduced new options for deploying your app to production. Now, in addition to GitHub-triggered rollouts, you can deploy source code from a local machine using the Firebase CLI or deploy your own pre-built container image using Terraform. Take a look at this blog post to see the step-by-step instructions for each option. Another new feature in app hosting is that the emulator now automatically uses emulated versions of Firebase services, such as authentication or real-time database, instead of production versions. When your app interacts with emulated services, it's working in a completely isolated environment. This means you can perform all your development and testing activities without any risk of accidentally modifying or corrupting your live production data. Also, using Firebase services in a production environment may incur costs. By using emulated versions, you avoid these costs entirely during development and testing. This feature is available when you use the Firebase JavaScript SDK's initialize app function without arguments to connect to Firebase services in your app. And last, the app hosting documentation now includes more detailed guidance on how to optimize caching to improve your app's performance. So definitely check that out. Now let me introduce you to Firebase AI Logic. We've renamed and repackaged our Vertex AI and Firebase services into Firebase AI Logic to better reflect our expanded services and features. With this renaming, we're launching several new features. First, you can now choose which Gemini API provider to use to securely access Google's generative AI models directly from your mobile and web apps. You can choose between the long-available Vertex AI Gemini API or the Gemini Developer API, which provides a free tier with reasonable rate limits and quotas. We now also offer a client SDK for Unity that supports Gemini models as well as the bidirectional streaming Gemini Live API. This means you can now build AI features in your games, like new forms of player interaction with both voice and image input, responsive and evolving game worlds, and personalized experiences. The Firebase AI Logic for Unity is also compatible with Android XR projects in Unity 6. Take a look at this blog post to see an example of what you can build with it. Let's talk about the Client SDK for Web. It now offers experimental access to hybrid and on-device inference for web apps running on Chrome on desktop. This configuration allows your app to use the on-device model when it's available, but fall back seamlessly to the cloud-hosted model when needed. Another very exciting feature that comes with Firebase AI Logic is the AI monitoring dashboard in the Firebase console. From this dashboard, you can monitor your requests to Gemini models when you're using the Vertex AI Gemini API. It helps you get insights into usage patterns, performance metrics, and debugging information from the Firebase AI Logic client SDKs so that you can optimize your AI implementation and create better experiences for your users. To learn more about this release, take a look at this blog post. And if you're already using the libraries with the old name, don't worry. You can continue to use them, as all the existing versions will continue to work as they do now. But we strongly encourage you to migrate to the new libraries because all new development and features will be only available in these new ones. Check out the Firebase AI Logic documentation to learn how you can start using these new libraries with just a few lines of code. Now let's talk about the Firebase MCP Server. If you're not familiar with the Model Context Protocol yet, It extends the capabilities of AI tools used by millions of developers. By connecting to MCP servers, coding agents can directly integrate with additional tools and services in a standardized fashion. We're launching an experimental Firebase MCP server as part of the Firebase CLI to provide AI assistants access to powerful tools for configuring and working with Firebase. By installing this locally, you can integrate with many popular IDEs and LLM clients. Take a look at this blog post to learn what you can do with the Firebase MCP server and how to get started with the Firebase MCP server by adding it to your configuration file. And last but not least, let's see what's new in Data Connect. Data Connect already supported transactions. These complex operations are quite common. For example, when you require multiple database changes that must either all succeed or all fail, like moving money from one account to another. Now you can execute a series of operations, query for data, and then execute another series of operations using information returned from a previous atomic step. Take a look at the documentation to learn more about transaction support. We're also taking AI-assisted developments to the next level. First, there's a Gemini and Firebase flow in the console where you can describe your data model in natural language, and Gemini will generate the necessary GraphQL schemas, queries, and mutations to use in your app. And second, Data Connect's VS Code extension is integrated with Gemini Code Assist, bringing the schema and query generation features from the Firebase console directly into your VS Code environment. We also just launched Admin Bulk Data Import. Using the Firebase Admin SDK, you can perform bulk operations such as insert many and upsert many to populate or update your Data Connect tables. This is useful for initial data seeding, migrations, or batch updates from external systems. You can check how to get started with bulk data import in the Firebase documentation. To learn more about these and other features in Data Connect, take a look at this blog post. And those were all the updates I had for today. I'll leave all the links that I mentioned in the description below, so make sure to take a look at those to learn more about all these amazing launches you just saw. And as usual, if you liked this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel below. My name is Marina, and I'll see you on a future episode of Firebase Release Notes.